You know, they
I worked a couple of years ago, and I wrote a novel about it called The Custodian's Bitch. I worked at I had lost excuse me, I had lost a job that I worked almost a decade at 4 years ago because the company I was working at was breaking local county health and safety laws. And being a decent human being, I followed the company's policy to report them. They ended up firing me. I ended up working for a year and a half as a custodian. I worked in the English department of all things, and I would clean up everything, and I would look. And this was a high school, and I was shocked. High schoolers in Texas, where I live, are given books that I 40 years ago read when I was 7 or 8, and they don't have to write a 2,000-word book report. They would have things. List the 3 themes. What do you think about the 3 characters? And draw a picture about what you think of. How does it make you feel? You're a 16 or 17-year-old, and you have to draw a heart to tell me that you like, the cricket in Times Square. What the fuck is that? That's so dumbed down. And this has nothing to do with culture. It has nothing to do with race or anything. This has to do with an active, I think now, an active design on the part of, certainly in the U.S., of dumbing down the populace, because and I could go off. I've had a bad few days, so if I sound cranky, the work where I work at, I could tell you my work. I could give you a 40-year scan of my work history, and I could go off politically or whatnot. But we're talking about arts. I'm going to try to avoid that, unless you want to.
Well, I mean, like it is easy to sort of to get kind of mad about the dumbing down of culture. And already, like, there's such like it's such a fertile ground for all these culture wars we see kind of like within kind of like the culture industry and with certain outlets for academia and stuff like that. I mean, nowadays we have like people like internet self-help gurus and stuff like that. Like, all, I think they're another symptom of the same sort of thing. I mean, you have slam poets, people like Rupi Kaur, like dumbing down poetry, and then you have like people like Jordan Peterson dumbing down like philosophy, and then like and it's
there is a place for performance arts. There is a place for bad films and whatnot, but it shouldn't be everything. The problem is there used to be if people want to read comic books, great. I don't. Yeah, it's that it's everything. You can't eat cream pie all the time and survive and hope to be healthy. You have to have vitamins. You have to have nutrients. And the mind is just like that. You have to have some kind of stimulation. Now, most people aren't going to be artists. Most people just like to, stick their fingers up their asses, go on to work, and massage their prostates if they're men or whatnot. That's the life of most people. I mentioned this film 63 Up that came out that followed the lives of people over decades and whatnot. It's an interesting film, but here's a good thing about art is the Up series shows a dozen or more absolutely normal, average people. Some of them aren't that bright. Some of them are pretty fucked up. But Apted, with the structure of this continuing series of documentaries, has made something far greater than the sum of what these people are. These people, are nothing to behold, but the little things that they go through, that could be a great novel in and of itself.
It connects the lives of normal kind of everyday people, children, to something grander than themselves, a grander narrative, and I think to try and connect this kind of to your work. I mean, like, when I read and when I read as a young person, I almost pretended that there was a little film director in my head, and that books were in a sense kind of instructions to that director in my head.
Exactly. Because your Captain Ahab does not look like my Captain Ahab. Your Heathcliff does not look like my Heathcliff. And you may be reading a line and coming in for a crane shot, whereas I might just have 2 people there instead of the crane coming in. And that's the interactivity that sets it apart, and that makes you a part co-creator. And that is why reading is so special.